This time I'd like to discuss histamine. Histamine has sort of been misunderstood by the medical field. Histamine's job is to balance the body out when it's low on water. Histamine is it's a neurotransmitter in charge of drought management in the body when you're low on water. So when you're low on water in an area, then the histamine comes in to borrow the water from another area. And also when your electrolytes are out of balance, then the histamine is turned on to balance the electrolytes out. So basically, histamine saves your life. It's got 5 buddy workers, and we cover it in our histamine chapter in the book, in this Goof Proof Health book. And we have a testimonial from a mother that learned how to apply the histamine knowledge that she had learned, because she had 2 sons that were having a problem. They had this very, very bad cough, and you heard the cough, and they were, she couldn't do anything to stop the cough, and she got me on the phone and she said, what can I do? And I told her that you know that it's water. If the water doesn't stop the cough, or the salt on the tongue, or a little bit of sugar, or taking some potassium, you got 3 electrolytes. It's potassium, sodium, and chlorine. So salt is sodium chloride, which is sodium chlorine, and the potassium. The histamine's job is to keep these things balanced. So if you get too much potassium, then it has to balance things out so that you don't have a major problem. Same thing, if you get too much sodium, then the histamine has to kick in. But one problem when the histamine is commissioned is it suppresses your immune system. And when it suppresses your immune system, then some people, they get allergies, or they get a sore throat, or they get colds. So it's very important to stay hydrated. If you're hydrated with the proper amount of water and salt, and then you're watching your electrolytes, that you're getting enough potassium. As we mentioned in our book, and in Dr. B's books, where I got this from, if you take too much potassium, then histamine is turned on, because the body can't use the potassium without salt. So anytime you take a lot of potassium, like you drink a glass of orange juice, it's loaded with potassium, you need some salt, because it takes the salt to get the potassium into the cell and keep it there. And if you don't have the salt, then histamine is turned on. Well, when histamine is turned on to do this, to balance things out, then it suppresses your immune system. So when your immune system is suppressed, then this is where you get the allergies, and you could have the coughing. There's all kinds of things associated with being low on the water and the salt, or too much potassium, or too much sodium. The chlorine is not going to, it's difficult to get too much chlorine. But mainly it's the potassium you get not enough of, or too much of. And we get way too much sodium today, because a lot of our fast foods or packaged foods are loaded with sodium. If you look on the label, you're going to see it's sodium, 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 and not salt, because salt is sodium chloride. It is balanced. So anytime that you're having a runny nose, a runny eye, a dry cough, or a whole lot of phlegm and mucus, I suggest that you go drink a glass of water and see what effect it has. Then put a little bit of salt on the end of your tongue and leave it there and let it dissolve for a minute or 2, and see if you improve from the salt. And if you don't improve from the water and a little bit of salt, then I suggest that you drink water to clean the salt off of your tongue. And then you take a little bit of sugar and you put it on the middle of the tongue. Because sugar contains potassium, and the sugar is important to keep your blood sugar elevated somewhat. It's like when your blood sugar drops, then you get tired or sleepy. And the cells don't have the energy that they have to actually function properly. And with the sugar, it also helps hang on to the water into the cell, because the sugar does have minerals in it, and the minerals are critical to the cell to be able to hang on to this water. Because a lot of times people drink water and it just runs through the cell so quickly that the cell doesn't have adequate time to use it. and they're running to the bathroom all the time. And unfortunately, if water acts as a diuretic and you go into the bathroom too quickly after you've had the water, like 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, even up to an hour, then it's acting as a diuretic and it's pulling the electrolytes and the minerals out of the body. And it's going to be a major problem. So once again, there's an excellent testimonial of a mom that used the water on the one son, and the one son was lacking water and the other son was lacking potassium. Well, the one doesn't like to drink water. He was drinking fruit juice and soda. He was at his grandmother's house, and the other son doesn't like his fruit whatsoever at all. She gave him some fresh papaya, I believe, and he quit coughing right away because he needed the potassium. So we encourage you to get the book if you haven't already purchased the book, and you'll see a button there that you could tap on if you'd like to purchase the book. And we appreciate your comments and your questions. And from all of us here at Goof Proof Health, we'd like to thank you.